Hey, this is Kelly Dixon coming at you with the Breaking Bad Insider Podcast. This is number 405 called Shotgun. Got a lot of people here, so bear with us. Got Vince Gilligan.
Hello.
Got Betsy Brandt.
Hello.
Got Jonathan Banks.
Hello.
Writer Tom Schnauz.
Hey, everybody.
Got Dean Norris.
Hello.
And last but not least, director Michelle McLaren.
Hello.
So this one picks up right after Brian has gone to the lab, and all he said to the camera is, "Where is he?" So this picks right up where I guess Walt is driving on the street, mad dash. So I just want to ask, Michelle, as a producer and as a director here, obviously this had to be scouted. The street had to be closed off. But how big of an area are we talking about here?
Originally, when we were scouting for it, the writers had written that it was a commercial area, and there were storefronts and restaurants and things, and we quickly realized that we couldn't afford to shut down a commercial area. But we did look at an area on 4th Street in Albuquerque, and then we looked at a few different areas, and we were looking at about 3 or 4 blocks, which isn't very long, so we had to make the 3 or 4 blocks look like it was a really long period of time. And we found a industrial area, which we ended up shooting at, which was a lot more flexible for us because we could actually afford to shut it down. And we shut down about 4 or 5 blocks of this one section, and we had 11 PAs that were hidden around each corner. We had, I don't know how many police officers, but several police officers, and we controlled this entire area because not only was it important for us to make it safe and control the whole area, but we had to get the cars to go around and back to their first position pretty quickly and efficiently because we had a day to shoot this sequence.
So I know that Brian is a really, really good driver. Did he do any of this driving?
He did, and Brian a lot, I would say 90% of the time on our show, Brian does his own stunts. But in this particular scene, we did bring in a stunt driver from Los Angeles, a gentleman by the name of Larry, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know Larry's last name, who is Bruce Willis's double and the best double I have ever seen for any actor I've ever worked with for Bryan Cranston. Brian doesn't like that because there's a little age difference, but we're not shooting the front. But Larry is so good that once you put the glasses on, you put the goatee and the mustache on, we could shoot him profile up close.
Wow.
He was moving fast from behind. And Brian did get into the car and he did do some of that driving. And after we shot quite a bit with Larry and Brian was watching, it was his turn, and Brian never gets nervous. And in this particular instance, I noticed Brian was a little nervous, and we eased into it. And then, of course, Brian, being Brian, completely grasped the whole thing right away and was into doing some wild driving. And there's a couple of shots in there that it is Brian, which you would think it was the stuntman, and Brian did an awesome job.
So, Dean, how do you feel about being on the case now?
I think it's I think really it's one of the I think I probably said this on the podcast before. It's one of the great things of the show how they're able to keep Hank in the game believably. I think, and yet not have him catch him. It's always one of my favorite writing elements of the story.
I love how Hank sort of gives up in this episode. He's convinced Heisenberg is dead and gone, and my job's over. And then Walt comes in and completely blows up and puts you back on the case.
I love that. I love that
Yeah,
scene.
Tom,
He played that so well, man. Brian's so good at that when he plays drunk really well when he starts to get drunk
Yeah.
because he knows how to play Walter White drunk, which is mean. He gets mean, you know what I'm saying? And it leads him to say these things and inadvertently gets him back. Was it really all that inadvertent? Do you think there's something inside him? It's sort of like the more the crime. You want to be caught at some level. Do you think it's something?
Yeah, I think
he wanted to bring him back into the game because he wanted to be.
I don't know if he wants to be caught. I think he just hates losing control, and he hates somebody else getting credit.
He hates
The
someone
credit.
else's
It's the credit.
Work.
It's the credit, yeah.
And hearing Gale described as a genius just chafes his ass.
I love that. I love that part.
In this, I feel like in this
Fucking
episode,
genius.
this is all about Walt just loses control of everything. He goes, he's going to risk his life to save Jesse, and Jesse's a little punk ass who's like, he doesn't even know what Walt went through in the
Picks
beginning of
his
this
underwear for a
episode.
minute.
Yeah, he picks his underwear
gonna
for a
save
minute. The
this
son
guy.
of a bitch. He hooks up with his wife again, but then his wife starts deciding when he's going to move back in. He sees his son drinking out of a Beneke mug. The man that is
Banging his wife.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's hearing Gale get credit for his work, and then he can't. It's all just compressed inside him, and then he just lets it out.
Spews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wait, I just want to get back to for a second where you were talking about Hank and Marie too.
Yeah.
With Betsy, because this was a very challenging thing for Betsy to do for Marie, in that her husband is being a complete and utter asshole, but she's got to be understanding here and supportive.
That was challenging.
But I love what we see in the relationship between Hank and Marie this season. I think it's really beautiful. What a pain in the ass you are, and how much she loves you. She's just glad you're not dead.
Right.
Most of the time.
I don't think it
she's
was all that
glad.
kind. I mean, I know people have said, but Jesus, the guy's been shot. I mean, and he's.
Will you stop sticking up for him?
Well, I have to.
Why? Why does he have to be so cranky? To me, I'm the one who's being nice
Because
to
he
you.
wants someone else to feel his pain, man. He can't walk anymore. And people are
Well,
like,
not
why
with
ain't you
that
cranky? It's
attitude.
like,
Not
fuck
with
you.
that attitude, he
People
can't.
like going up on the street and like patting my wife on the back. It's okay. It's like, I don't treat my real wife that way. But it's like,
She
the guy's-
calls me sometimes,
I've heard stories.
Dean.
I've heard stories.
Oh, but she deserves it. No, but the guy. I mean, it's not that hard to understand why he would be that way, is it? Is it that hard to
No,
understand?
I agree with you. I don't think it is that
No.
hard to understand.
I mean, I don't even think, and I think he knows he's being. He doesn't want to be a dick.
No, and there we have those moments
He
where you can
doesn't
see
want
him
to, but he
feeling
can't help
guilty.
it. Yeah, he just can't help it. You want somebody else to, whatever, go through that same kind of thing, right?
Just kind of beat up on the people closest to
Yeah.
you.
Well, what's kind of interesting too.
Because you must know I love you and I'll stay.
I do.
Well,
That's why I think
I'm
it's what you're
serious.
saying
Like,
there. I
you
know.
must
I think
know.
it's. I
I
know.
mean,
I think
you
that's
know
what you're
that-
saying there. It was an interesting insight into our little relationship.
let's get to the meat of, I guess, the really big meat of the episode is this car wreck that happens, and how much prep went into that, and how much did you know ahead of time? You and Vince have had a long history together from the X-Files, and so how much,
This is what Vince said to me. Michelle, I want a T-bone like we've never seen a T-bone before. And I thought, oh my God, we've all seen a T-bone done every way possible. I actually went to the... We do. I was just going to say, I went to the stunt guys and the FX guys, and there was a number of different, I told them the shots I'd like to have. They contribute to shot ideas, and together we come up with a plan. But one of the shots I really, really wanted, and it's usually done by a green screen, is the shot where the camera's in the passenger side of the car that's being hit, looking over the driver at the car coming at them. And usually that's done with a green screen. And we didn't have the time or the money to do a green screen shot. And we would obviously never put anybody in danger beyond the scope of their abilities. But the stunt guys said, we want to do this practically. And so I said, great, as long as we're going to be safe.
Whose idea was that? Was that Al?
Al Godo, our amazing stunt coordinator, and we flew in some gentlemen from Los Angeles to do the stunt, and we had
Doped
some
him up real good.
yeah, and we had some local guys too, because the guy who was playing Jesse was actually local, but the two guys the two bad guys in the one that's in the car, he was, and the guy that dodges the car, those guys were from
when
from
I
LA.
saw it, I was like, did he get hurt? He didn't get hurt.
Nope, nobody got hurt.
I was just, when I saw it, I was like, somebody's got to have been really hurt.
We had multiple cameras.
Wow.
But you took the most comfortable Park Avenue that I spend a lot of time in, and because of that shot, I am now in a sleazy Buick.
And Jonathan was actually amazing that night because he had hurt his knee when we were doing the digging scenes previously that week, and he had to run down that alley quite a few times.
Yeah, you ran,
Yeah.
man. I looked at that. I was like, damn, look
And
at
that's
him
a
running.
senior citizen running down that alley.
Jonathan is so darn cool in this episode. I mean, he is so cool.
When does Marie get a scene with Mike?
With Mike? Well, that's a good question. We can't reveal.
Because I think Marie should have a scene with Mike.
So, just
Nobody
wanted
shows
to
all over their wives, man.
just want to thank everybody for coming today. Appreciate it. Vince, Betsy, Jonathan,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Schnauz, Dean, Michelle.
Thank you, Kelly.
And thanks for our great crew who came here on a Sunday
Yeah. Are they in the shower?
Don't you dare.
for free.
Gordon,
Don't you dare.
you got Jen, you got Trevor on the mixing board there.
Everybody, this episode was entitled Shotgun. Directed by Michelle McLaren, written by Tom Schnauz. So thank you, everyone. Oh, Tom, they're coming for you. Here,
Your ride's here, Tom.
Thanks, Kelly.
everybody, go break bad.